الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه. أما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that He spoke to some of His creatures directly. He communicated with them directly. There was no wahi involved. Sometimes He might speak direct to an individual, and some other time there might be a wahi given to the same person. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to the angels direct, and they communicated back with Him. He spoke to Iblis, Satan. He spoke to Adam. He spoke to Moses. So I'm going to examine, starting from today inshallah, few verses regarding the discussion which went between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah clearly states, وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. Allah spoke to Moses. In the same way we are talking to each other now, Allah spoke to Moses exactly in the same way, one-to-one discussion. So today I'm going to start from Surah Taha, chapter 20. If you want to follow the verses in the Quran and you have them on your mobile, no problem, you can actually look at them, starting from verse 9, chapter 20. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وهل أتاك حديث موسى. It's a question addressed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah is saying to him, are you aware of the story of Moses? Have you heard about it before? Do you know what happened? I'm talking about an incident which happened maybe 4,000 years ago. What is the relevance of something happened 4,000 years ago to us today?
Give us a lesson.
It is a lesson we learn from it. So Allah subhanahu, let me give you the background very quickly to what happened at that moment in the life of Moses. We know that after Moses killed the Egyptian by mistake, he didn't mean to do it. He was supporting one of his own people, and he had to flee from Egypt. He had to run away. And Allah guided him to go towards Madianites in Sinai. And he married a daughter of an old man, and her mahr, her dowry, was to work for the old man for 8 years. And if Moses would accept to do 10 days, will be better. So the father-in-law was negotiating with him the mahr to be paid to the daughters. Either you work for me for 8 years or you work for me for 10 years. Whatever period you choose, it's up to you. And then when the term was completed, we don't know whether he worked for 8 years or 10 years, Moses decided to take his family and return to Egypt. What went into his mind at that time? Why did he decide to go back to Egypt? He missed his family. He missed his mother, he missed his brother, he missed his people. He wanted to go back. And he thought that it is now 8 or 10 years. Most of probably the Egyptians forgot about the crime he committed, because there was a life sentence against him. He was going to be killed. So he decided to go back. He started his journey. He didn't have Google Maps at that time, so I wanted to imagine he started his journey from the middle of Sinai. Madianite is very close to the Gulf of Aqaba, and now he's moving towards the Gulf of Suez, and he's going to go, there was no Suez Canal at that time, so he was going to go from the north of the Gulf of Suez into Egypt. It was a very dark night, very cold, very wet, and he saw a fire. إذ رأى نارا. He saw a fire at a distance. فقال لأهلهم كثوا. He said to his family, stay here. إني آنست نارا. I have seen a fire there. لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى. I'm going to get there, maybe I'll be able to bring some fire for you to warm yourself with, and maybe I will find guidance at the fire to direct me where to go, to show me the way. And it shows you, he didn't say to his wife, oh, go and get me, so I'll sit down here and check my mobile or my social media, you go and do this and I'll wait. No, because الرجال قوامون على النساء. Men are the protectors and guardians of women. It is us who should be doing the hard work, not our wives. So he kept his wife, his children, his family, and he went to the site of the fire. In Surah An-Naml, the ants, chapter 7, verse 7, and Surah Al-Qasas, verse 29, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us another side of the story. It's the same thing but in a different language, in different words. فَلَمَّا أَتَاهَا. When he reached where the fire was, نُودِيَ يَا Musa. He heard someone calling him, oh Moses. I want you to imagine what went into his heart. Who is talking to him? So dark, so wet, so cold. He doesn't know the area very well, and a voice is calling him, Ya Musa, oh Moses. Ya in Arabic is harf nida. When you call someone, you say, Ya Ahmad, Ya Muhammad, Ya أيها الناس, Ya Bani Israel, Ya أيها الذين. Ya is harf nida. When you call someone, you put Ya before the name. It means, I am calling you. Ya Musa, oh Moses. Inni ana rabbuka. I am your Lord. Can you imagine? I am your Lord. فَاخْلَعْ نَعْلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى. Take off your slippers. You are in the holy valley Tuwa. It's a valley, a holy valley near Mount At-Tur in Sinai, on the border of the Gulf of Suez, where you have now Sharm el-Sheikh and all other resorts. Take off your shoes, take off your slippers. You are in the holy valley Tuwa, the name of the valley. Why did he ask him to take off his shoes? Could you please move forward, everybody, please? Please move forward. You see, when you come for prayers, you take off your shoes. But you can pray with your shoes if your shoes are clean. If you are sure that your shoes has no dirt in it, no dog's poo in it, for example, you have the right to pray with your shoes. It's allowed, it's permissible. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the mosque was not made out of carpets as we have today. It was mainly gravel. And people would walk in with their shoes and they offer their prayers and they leave. I can do the same here if I have brand new pair of shoes and I'm 100% certain that I can walk in. But because we have carpets now, we don't do that because we don't want the carpets to get stained. Prophet ﷺ once was praying with his na'al, slippers or shoes, call them whatever you like to call them, and then halfway through the prayers he took them off. And the people did the same. So when he finished, he said to them, why did you take off your shoes? Jibreel came to me and he told me I have dirt in my shoes, so I took them off. When you come into the mosque, check if your shoes are clean or not. If they are clean, you can pray with them. So in Islam, we are allowed to pray with our shoes. I have no problem with that. Why did Allah ask Moses to take off his shoes at that moment, in that place? Is it the holiness of the place, or was there any dirt in his shoes, or was it Allah trying to distract his attention? He was so frightened to hear someone talking to him. And when it is Allah is talking to him, imagine what went into his mind. He was a human. He was a human. Very fragile, like all of us. وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ, I have chosen you. فَاسْتَمِعْ لِمَا يُوحَى. Now listen to what is going to be inspired to you. أَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ, I have chosen you. Was it only at that moment when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to choose Musa? Or was it something pre-planned before the creation of heavens and earth? And it was in the book of creation that at that moment Moses will come to this point in Sinai and Allah is going to talk to him. What do you think? It's pre-planned, exactly. وَأَنَا اخْتَرْتُكَ, I have chosen you. Listen to what I'm going to tell you. إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري. I am Allah. There is no other God but me. You see, the first verse he said, إني أنا ربك, I am your Lord. Now he is saying, I am your God. إني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا. There is no other God but me. فاعبدني. Serve only me. Ibadah, it doesn't mean I stand and pray or fast. Worship me, obey me, serve only me. When you serve humanity, you are serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْإِنسَ وَالْجِنَّ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. The main reason for creating ins and jinn is to obey me, to serve me and only me. And you serve Allah by serving humanity. It's very important. You don't serve Allah by standing and praying. The benefit is yours. Allah doesn't benefit anything out of that. But serving Allah means serving humanity, all His creatures. فَعْبُدْنِي وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِ. Establish regular prayers for my remembrance. So can you imagine the message from that time? We talk about 4,000 years ago maybe. He's saying to him, maintain regular prayers, Moses. Pray. Something we've been instructed to do all the time when we talk about our 5 daily prayers. إن الساعة آتية أكاد أخفيها لتجزى كل نفس بما تسعى. The hour is coming. The hour of judgment is coming. I have almost kept it hidden for every soul to receive its reward by the measure of its endeavor. So Allah is telling Moses, the hour is coming. I'm hiding it. Nobody knows when it's going to happen. Everyone will be rewarded according to what he did in this life. فَلَا يَصُدَّنَّكَ عَنْهَا مَنْ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِهَا وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ فَتَرْدَى. Therefore, let not such as believe not in the hour and they follow their own lusts divert you therefrom lest you perish. This is very interesting instruction. There are many people around us today who are saying, what hour? What are you talking about? Oh, come on. إِنْ هِيَ إِلَّا حَيَاتُنَا الدُّنْيَا نَمُوتُ وَنَحْيَا وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمَبْعُوثِينَ. It's only this life. We are going to live and enjoy it, and we'll never come back to life again if we are dead. So don't let these people influence you to make you disbelieve in the hour of judgment, because it is one of the articles of faith. We must believe there will be a day of judgment. We are all going to be called for account. We are all going to be questioned about what we have done in this life. So you are not going to get away with a murder here. No. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Musa a question. وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا Musa. What is this thing you are holding in your right hand? What is it? Did Allah know? What do you think? Did Allah know about it? Of course He knew. قَالَ هِيَ عَصَايَ. It's my stick. Wasn't this enough for Musa to respond in this way? It was enough. But Moses continued. And one opinion says Musa was so thrilled to be in the presence of the divine, so he wanted to prolong the discussion. He didn't know what's coming next. So he wanted to prolong his discussion with Allah. So he said, أتوكأ عليها. I lean on it. Musa was young. He was about 40 at that time because he received the message at the age of 4. He was young. أتوكأ عليها. I lean on it. Why? Not because he had a bad back like me or bad knees. No, because the terrain he lived in, the desert, the mountain, the rocks, the uneven soil or land, imposed this on him to have a stick to be able to walk and negotiate his steps in the desert. أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي. Ghanam means sheep. I'm a shepherd man. And what I use this stick for, can I have this pen please? Pencil please.
Take the leaf.
I do that. Did you see what happened? The leaves fell, yes? And that's what Musa said to Allah. وَأَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِ means I hit the trees so the leaves will fall down so my sheep will eat from it. وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى. I have other usages for it. Someone said maybe he wanted to hit his wife with it or something. This is very interesting. What is he talking? وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى. I have other usage. I use it for other things. We don't know what other things Musa will use his stick. We don't know. قَالَ أَلْقِيهَا يَا مُوسَى. Throw it down. So Musa throws his stick on the floor. فألقاها فإذا هي حية تسعى. It turned into a little snake. Listen very carefully. حية. Female snake, a small one, moving. When Musa went to Egypt and saw Pharaoh, and Pharaoh asked him for a miracle, what have you got? He threw his stick and became Thu'ban, a huge snake. The idea was to frighten Pharaoh, but here was not to frighten Moses. And when the competition took place between Moses and the magicians, Allah did not tell us the name or the type of the snake. All he said was, it was big enough to swallow up all the other ropes and sticks of the Egyptian magicians. So at that moment it was Hayyatun Tas'a, a little snake moving. So Moses became so frightened and he ran away. He couldn't see it, he ran away. Allah said, قَالَ خُذْهَا وَلَا تَخَفْ. Pick it up again, Musa. Pick it up and don't be afraid. سَنُعِيدُهَا سِيرَتْهَا. We are going to return it back to its original form. It's going to become a stick again. And the question when Allah asked Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, what is this in your right hand? Musa said, my stick. Allah wanted to show him that this stick is going to turn into a snake. And then it's coming back to its original form. سَنُعِيدُهَا سِيرَتَهَا الْأُولَى. We shall return it at once to its former condition. It will become stick again. Now, who can remind me? The stick was used in the story of Musa in different places. Who can remind me with other things the stick was used for?
Used for the water fountain.
Correct. For what?
Using for snake.
Yes, okay. And dividing the sea when he is. And what's the other one?
For the spring water.
For the spring water. Allah commanded him to hit the rock and the 12 springs of water came out, one for each of the tribes of Bani Israel. Okay, so remember the stick here played a major role in the story as the shirt of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam did the same in his story. 3 different things happen in the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. The shirt played 3 roles. Here also the stick played the role of the snake, the role of dividing the sea, and the springs, the 12 springs of water. Okay. Then Allah said to him, واضمم يدك إلى جناحك تخرج بيضاء من غير سوء آية أخرى. Moses, put your hand in your bosom, here. It will come out beaming with light. You know, he killed someone. He said sorry. He said sorry. قال رب إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. فغفر له. He forgave him. But, you know, when, God forbid, when you kill someone by mistake, even when you hit a fox, honestly, wallah, if you hit a fox with your car, and the fox is dead, it hurts. It hurts so much. Because it's against our good nature to kill anything. Imagine he killed a man, he killed a human being. He lived with this, okay, painful feeling. I killed someone. So, and this is the hand which I killed this Egyptian with. So Allah said, وَضْمُمْ يَدَكَ إِلَى جَنَاحِكَ. It has two meanings. Put your hand next to you. Do not use your hand anymore to fight people. It's finished. It's gone. You are going to work for me. I have chosen you, and my prophets and messengers are not violent. They do not use force against people. The hand you used 10 years ago or 8 years ago cannot be used anymore to do any evil. I am going to purify it for you. It's going to come out beaming with light. And that's what he did. لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. So we can show you. He said, آيَةً أُخْرى, it's another sign from me. It's not just the stick, it's also your hand which will beam light. It will glow with light. You know, this move is where they have this stick which has what's called this stick they get. Light? Okay, I have it, all the lights coming out, yes? So Moses had it as well. لِنُرِيَكَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا الْكُبْرَى. We are going to show you of our greatest signs. Oh my goodness. Imagine the discussion with Musa, and Allah is talking, and Musa is going through, I would say, major changes to his outlook, to his even appearance, to heart and mind. And it's amazing situation. Because when he arrived at the fire, in another chapter, Allah tells us there was a burning bush. Burning bush which did not consume the tree. There was a fire in the tree, but it was not consuming the tree. It was the light of the angels surrounding the tree. And Allah says, بُورِكَ مَنْ فِي النَّارِ وَمَنْ حَوْلَهَا. Let's bless those who are in the fire and around it. So this is the only fire where those who were in and around it were blessed. Can you imagine? اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go back to Pharaoh. He has transgressed all limits. Go back to the Pharaoh in Egypt. Go back to the Pharaoh in Saudi. Go back to the Pharaoh in Bangladesh. Okay. Any more volunteers? Pakistan. Okay. Breaks my heart, honestly, when I see what's happening in Jerusalem. 50 years ago, when Egypt lost the war against Israel and Israel occupied East Jerusalem and took over Al-Aqsa, my uncle said to me, my dear son, don't be surprised that the day will come when you will apply to the Israeli government to get a visa to Mecca and Medina. And I was young, 50 years old, I was very young. I became so upset when he said that. I said, excuse me, how can you say that? He said, if Jerusalem has gone, Mecca and Medina tomorrow will go. And this is the truth. It will go. The time will come when we will apply at the Israeli embassy here to go to do Umrah and Hajj. Yes. because there isn't a single Muslim country in the whole world which is standing up to do something regarding Jerusalem. In the same way, Hebron Mosque was divided between the Jews and the Muslims in time and place. Exactly the same will happen to Al-Aqsa and to the Dome of the Rocks. Because we are غثاء سيل. We are scum. All of us, scum. Prophet ﷺ said that, not me. Hadith Sahih al-Albani. We are scum. Do you know how to spell scum? Do you know what is the torrent scum? What is the torrent scum? Did you see the torrent in Cornwall 2 days ago? What it brings? We are. Sadaqa Rasulullah. He said, you will be scum. We are the scum today. That's all we are good at. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go back to Pharaoh. He transgressed all boundaries, all limits. Musa said a beautiful invocation. قال رب اشرح لي صدري. My Lord, please expand my breast for me and relieve my mind. My chest is so tight. I cannot talk. I'm so frightened. I'm so afraid. Like the majority of us today, you cannot say anything because you are worried. You are worried. Arrive into Bangladesh, arrest you, put you in the jail. Goodbye. Egypt, Saudi, whatever. Syria, Iraq. Goodbye. قال رب اشرح لي صدري. Please, my Lord. Beautiful. First time. Subhanallah. اشرح لي صدري. Very often you feel your chest is very tight. Very tight. ويسر لي أمري. Make all my tasks so easy, please. واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Or remove the impediment from my speech. Lose the knot from my tongue so people can understand me when I talk. Very interesting. Very often before I start any speech, I say this dua. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. The knot in my tongue so they can understand me.
Dr. Takin, I always speak that when we speak in lecture.
Yeah. This is something we always say before we talk. Now let me explain to you about the knot in Moses' tongue. There are two opinions. A very modern one by Sheikh Sha'rawi and very old ones which are Israelites, mainly in Ibn Kathir, for example. When Moses was born and his mother threw him into the basket into the river, and then he was picked up by the sister, and the wife of Pharaoh said to her husband, let us not kill him, let us keep him. He might be of benefit to us. Or we might adopt him because that Pharaoh could not have children. Or maybe his wife could not have children. So Pharaoh was very concerned about children of Israel. Someone is coming from that side who might challenge him in his kingdom. And he issued a decree that every newly born boy should be killed. So he decided to have a test. And in Ibn Kathir it says they gave him tamra and jamra, a red coal, hot piece of coal with fire in it, very hot, and a red date. And he said if he can tell the difference, then he is the future Messiah who is going to get rid of me. And they say they brought it very close to Moses, and Moses, with his tongue, he licked the hot coal. And that's why he lost his ability to speak properly or clearly. That's one opinion. The other opinion, which is a very modern one, came out in the last 50 years by Sheikh Sha'rawi. Said no, this is absolute nonsense. The uqda, that the knot in his tongue, was because he lived in Madianite for 8 to 10 years. He did not speak his language at all and he was only speaking their language all the time. I personally have the same problem. Every time I go to Egypt, I cannot speak any more Egyptian dialect. And people say, oh, are you Lebanese? Honestly, they say, are you Syrian? And now we are mixing a lot of Arabic words with English words. And so he lost. I can't speak even in Arabic. I find it very difficult to stand up and give a talk in Arabic without mixing a lot of English words with it. So Sheikh al-Sha'rawi said that was the main reason for his impediment, because he could not speak properly. Even Pharaoh accused him. He said, "Am ana khayrun min hada alladhi huwa mahinun wa la yakadu yubin." Don't you see that I am better than this despicable one who cannot even speak properly, who cannot clearly talk? So Musa alayhi salam said, "Waj'al li waziran min ahli." Please appoint an assistant to help me from my family. اجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي. Appoint Harun, my brother, to assist me, to help me. أشدد به أزري. I will gain more strength through him. وأشركه في أمري. I'm going to consult with him regarding all my affairs. So please Allah, appoint my brother Harun to be my assistant. And then he qualified his request. كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا. We are going to glorify you so much and continuously and constantly at all time. We'll praise you without stint. إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. You have always looked after us. This is very interesting request. He requested firstly that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would ease his chest, would make him able to talk properly. And he asked Allah to appoint his brother Harun as an assistant to him, to help him in carrying out his duties when he goes back to Egypt and face the tyrant Pharaoh and his mala', his council, his people. And he gave an excuse that he and his brother will not stop praising Allah all the time and thanking him all the time and remembering him all the time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded, this is beautiful, beautiful. Imagine the one-to-one conversation between Allah, the creator of heavens and earth, the Lord and sustainer of all creatures and the worlds, the king of the day of judgment, and Musa, a very small man, little man, standing there in the middle of the desert in a very cold and wet night, talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala one-to-one. Subhanallah. And then Allah responded by saying, قَالَ قَدْ أُوتِيتَ سُؤْلَكَ يَا مُوسَى. Everything you have asked for, Ya Musa, been given to you, been granted to you. Khalas. So his brother Harun was appointed as a messenger of Allah by recommendation. Have you ever heard that someone recommended? I mean, you can recommend someone here to have an OBE or to be knighted or to have what are all the other titles are. But have you ever heard of someone who would make a recommendation to Allah to appoint someone as a messenger and it been accepted? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started to tell Musa about the other favors and bounties and blessings he gave him from the day he was born, from the moment he was born. وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّا عَلَيْكَ مَرَّةً أُخْرَى. Oh Moses, this is not the first time we conferred a favor on you. We have done it before. And then it's telling now us, it's going to tell us the story of what he told his mother to do, what happened after his mother put him in the basket and breastfed him and let the basket go in the river, what happened with Pharaoh and so on. So the rest of the story inshallah will be in 2 weeks time because I'm away next Friday inshallah. So now we are going to have the announcement from Brother Qaisar and then we'll have our prayers. And in the meantime can have this. Thank you. Remember, this is my book. Please buy. The money goes to the mosque. And if you have bought one copy, buy one for the school, for your school, and give it to the library. Buy one and give it to the local library. Spread the message. This is a very good book. Not because I wrote it, because of the contents. It's all from the Quran. So please, make an effort to buy it. Donate it from your charity money or zakah money, please. It is on Amazon. We may have some free some copies here available. No excuse.
Copies, please.
Eh?
No free copies.
No, they are not
You
free.
just said
No, sorry, no, not free coffee. I meant the free coffee.
Oh.